A very good morning to all of you. In this lecture, we shall be revising our yesterday discussion on imagery with the context, with the help of some examples, and then we shall go ahead with the next topic. We understood that imagery means the use of figurative language. And this figurative language means use of metaphor, use of simile, use of personification, use of hyperbole, metonymy, synecdoche, inversion, whatever, all kinds of figures of speech are used. So it is the use of figurative language to represent objects, to describe the objects, or to describe actions, movements, or to describe ideas, to create a kind of mental picture, to appeal to our physical senses. So, this is what we understood. And the word imagery is associated with mental pictures that we discussed in yesterday's lecture. There are different types of imagery or sensory imagery, we can call them, because these particular images appeal to our multiple senses. So I said we have the sense of sight, sense of taste, sense of touch, sense of hearing, and sense of smell. Sense of sight is experienced by using eyes, sense of taste by your tongue, sense of touch by your skin, the sense of hearing by your ears, and the sense of smell by your nose. So these are the five types of senses that we discussed in yesterday's lecture. Based on this, we have the categorization of the imagery. We have visual imagery, we have gustatory imagery, then tactile imagery, or auditory imagery, and olfactory imagery, and even we have kinesthetic imagery. Kinesthetic imagery is related to the movement, we can say. Means we can feel the movement. So visual imagery engages the sense of sight. Means what? The poet uses such words to describe the things that you start seeing the picture of those things. So you can see the color, the size, shape, lightness, darkness, shadow, and shade. All those things are created in front of your eyes. So I gave you the examples yesterday. We shall discuss some more examples of the same. Then I talked about gustatory imagery. Gustatory imagery engages the sense of taste. So you can taste. Means you are made to feel the taste of those things. Okay, you can enjoy the taste of the things. Then tactile imagery engages the sense of touch. You can feel the touch of the things. Okay, you can feel the temperature, the coldness, etc. Then auditory imagery is related to sound. Okay, for example, the use of onomatopoeia, the use of alliteration can help create sounds in writing. You by using onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is one of the figures of speech. You might be knowing that. Okay, onomatopoeia is the repetition of natural sound. You must have heard some Hindi songs in which there is lots of use of onomatopoeia. ओके कोयल की कुहू बोली ओके कोयल बोली दुनिया डोली you must have heard the song और कोयल की I don't remember the word the song from Beta Hindi film Beta but cham cham and all these are the onomatopoeic sounds. Then alliteration, you are familiar with alliteration, the repetition of the initial sound. For example, I had given you the example from S.T. Coleridge's poem, "The fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free." Okay, the fair breeze blew. You can see, you can feel the, you can sound, you can hear the sound. The fair breeze blew. So the blowing breeze. Breeze means air. Okay, you might be knowing breeze is very silent air. So then you can even feel the smell. The poet tries to trigger the memory and emotion related to smell by using such words. Okay, then kinesthetic imagery is related to movement. So you can hear the sound or you can feel the movement of water, flapping wings of the birds, pounding of hearts, duck, duck, okay, something of this kind. Now we shall see some examples here in English. It was dark and dim in the forest. It was dark and dim in the forest. So the words like dark and dim create the picture, the visual image of the forest in front of your eyes. The children were screaming and shouting in the fields. Screaming and shouting appeal to our sense of hearing. This is auditory imagery. He whipped the aroma of brewed coffee, so you can feel the smell of coffee, whiff and aroma. Okay, these are related to what we call olfactory imagery. The girl ran her hands on a soft satin fabric. Soft. So yesterday I gave you the example in Marathi as well. Uh, कार गालीचे, मखमालीचे. Softness can be felt. So it appeals to our sense of touch. It is tactile sense. The fresh and juicy orange. So look, it appeals to your taste or gustatory sense. Wow, what a fresh and juicy orange it is. Juicy and sweet orange. Then tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The movement of the flowers can be seen here. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Okay? So this is how the poets can create uh, the mental pictures or make you feel the sound, make you smell the things, make you feel the touch of the things, make you feel enjoy the taste of the things, or even the picture of the movement is also created. You can feel the movement as well. That is kinesthetic imagery. Okay, so what is the function of imagery in a poem or in a piece of literature? Imagery is not restricted simply to poetry. It can be used in drama, in novel, in a short story, etc. So, imagery is used in literature to create a vibrant and graphic presentation of a scene. And this scene appeals to as many of the reader's senses as possible. I told you, all five senses. Sometimes it may appeal to your two senses, three senses at a time. So it is used to create a graphic representation of the things. Further, imagery helps the reader's imagination to envision, to see the characters and scenes. When a writer describes the character, the beauty of the character, the physical structure of the character, we can see the character in front of eyes. Okay, we can even see the scenes. Apart from these two functions, images which are created by using figures of speech like metaphor, simile, personification, onomatopoeia, serve the function of beautifying. They make the literature beautiful. So they have the function of beautifying a piece of literature. So this is how we understand imagery and its use in poetry.